Welcome back to the Auto Insider. This week, we're reviewing the 2025 Subaru Outback XT. After my week in this thing, I come up with a few reasons why you may want to consider a wagon instead of a full-size SUV. The Subaru Outback has made its mark as the go-anywhere, do-anything wagon, especially for adventure seekers and families who like to get out into the great outdoors. Well, for 2025, they've improved the technology a little bit and supposedly improved the off-road capabilities. Now, this all-wheel drive in Subaru has always been one that people have had high hopes for. And maybe for good reason. It didn't do bad in our rock pit. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of these daily driving features. Let's hit some of the things that I'm not so fond of first. But if you haven't already done so, take a moment to click and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly reviews. Well, let's start with the elephant in the room. That is its passive safety features. Some of you are gonna love them. I am not the biggest fan. The EyeSight works great, and I really do feel like when all my systems are on, I almost cannot have an accident. But when I backed out of my driveway this morning, there was a car parked on the street. The collision avoidance for the backup actually jammed the brakes and almost gave me whiplash backing out of my driveway. Sometimes the settings in these Subarus can be a little bit too sensitive, but that's for somebody like myself. You may find it a little easy to bear. And this is my last thing I'm gonna say about the passive safety. You know that it's a bit aggressive when the press company that drops it off has all of the systems already turned off when they drop it off to you. They didn't want to drive it that way, coming to bring it to me. Now let's jump to what I do like about it. I started with, I love a wagon. It's hard to find a wagon these days, but I feel like a wagon is a lot safer to drive. It has a lower center of gravity than the SUVs, and it still gives you the same seating capacity. And if you're like me and you're getting a little bit older and your knees are starting to not work as good as they used to, it's so much easier to get in and out of a wagon than it is a full-size SUV. And then once I'm in the cabin of this Subaru, I really like it. This chocolate brown interior with this dark black accent here on the doors gives me the feeling of I'm sitting in maybe a cigar lounge or a nice den somewhere. And the seats are really comfortable, heated and ventilated, and I have a heated steering wheel. So the Subaru Outback has the CVT transmission. That's a transmission that doesn't really shift gears. It just kind of winds up. In this Outback though, I don't find it intrusive with noise. It doesn't feel underpowered, and I don't really even notice it. They have programmed some artificial shifts in here to give you a sense of driving an automatic transmission. So for that, I wouldn't ding them. I mentioned in the opening that it's a daily driver and a wagon for families who seek adventure. It's great for families. There's a shelf here on the dash just above the glove compartment to put little things that you need on a road trip. The door pockets have a space for an extra cup or bottle. These cup holders will fit the average cup. No big gulps and nothing with a handle on it. But you do have a wireless phone charger, a USB-C fast charger, an old-fashioned USB charger, and even an aux cord. Do y'all remember aux cords? Subaru has also adopted the technology where the rear view mirror doubles as a monitor for a rear view camera. That comes in handy when you have that cargo area full of all your stuff and you still need to see what's behind you. Well, enough of the fluffy stuff. Now we got to see how this wagon stacks up against a sport utility vehicle. Let's check it out in the rock pit. This 2025 Subaru Outback maintains its rugged SUV capabilities. However, they have added some premium features across the lineup. The question is this still the most adventurous outdoor wagon on the market? One of the most impressive things about this Subaru Outback is the starting price still stays under $30,000 at $28,995. The model we have is the XT. It's the top of the line, so we're above $40,000. But when I think about wagons, off-road capability, and all the tech and premium features in here, let's see if this $44,000 for this wagon is a bargain. For those of you thinking about an SUV crossover and now a wagon, let me give you a couple reasons why you might choose this wagon over an SUV. First is the ingress, egress. It's a lot easier to step in and out of, so if you're like me, the needs are starting to get bad, you might want something more like a wagon. The next advantage I think this wagon has over an SUV
is this height here for loading and unloading the cargo area. See, not too high, pretty easy to get things in and out. Ours has the rubber mat package, so you can go out off-roading and do adventure and still not get this dirty. Next would be access to storage on these roof racks. How many times have you seen people trying to load the top of their SUVs and they're so hard to get to? Open this door, easy step up, and you can load this no problem at all. Now, if it's gonna compete with those SUVs, it's gotta handle that rock pit.
And the first obstacle will be ground clearance. There's a little bit of coverage here for your underbody, but without the height, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make some of these taller heels. But as you can see here, this symmetrical all-wheel drive kicks right in. When one tire loses power, the other wheel gets the traction and keeps you moving. As we go over some of these taller hills and these more steep grades, you get a little more tire spin. And if we were to, outfit this with some more off-road tires, you may get a little better performance. I would imagine we would lose some of that comfort from the road trips, but it may be worth it if you're doing this a lot. But if you pair up road noise from the tires with that wind noise, it may not be quite as pleasant as some of the SUVs. I must say though, we were impressed with our time in here, and we even were able to get a wheel or two off the ground, and this Outback came through like a champ. So if you're looking for an adventurous vehicle and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a full-size SUV and you want something that's easy to park in your garage, this Subaru Outback may be on your list. If you watched this far and you haven't subscribed, take a moment to click that bell so you don't miss any of our reviews as they come out each week.